What's up, everyone? Back for another beer mail, and today I'll be unboxing a beer mail courtesy once again of an order I placed from Half Time Beverage via their website, halftimebeverage.com. So as you can see in front of me, I have a lot of beers. If you can't tell, there's actually 3 rows of beers for a total of 31 beers. Yes, I bought 31 beers from Half Time Beverage. Now, this is the second order I've placed from them. The first one was, I believe it was the beginning of last fall. It was late September, and I ordered 20 beers, and I was extremely impressed with the service, and I got through all those beers, and I said when I unboxed those beers that, you know, assuming everything goes all right, and I see some beers down the line that I want to grab from Half Time, I'll probably place another order. Here we are 5 months later, and sure enough, I placed a second order. Now, this is going to be a longer beer mail unboxing, but all the beers here are here in front of me because I knew what I ordered, and I wanted to get them all set up because with 31 beers, me talking about them, it's probably going to be like 20, 25 minutes, maybe even half an hour. I don't know, whatever. It's the Beer Patrol. We got longer videos here. But anyway, there are 3 main breweries that I got beers from. In fact, 24 of the 31 are from those 3 breweries. So the first ones I'm going to go over real quick are the 7 odd and ends as far as like the different beers that I just kind of threw into the cart because either I wanted to try them or was like, all right, I can get a single of them, whatever the case may be. So we'll go over those 7 first and then the beers from the other 3. I'm not going to get too into each one, probably just tell you what the beer is, the brewery, the ABV, and show you, not even talk about the dates or anything because we'll save that for the reviews. I don't want this to be a 45-minute unboxing. So with that said, and without any further ado, let's go over these beers. So the first 2 you might have seen here at the front of the line, so to speak. 2 beers from Garage Beer. Now, I'm pretty sure Garage Beer was first started from the, it was like an offshoot of the Braxton Brewing Company. And now don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure the Kelsey brothers, Jason and Travis of the NFL, are like part owners, or they invested in it. It's basically a light beer, 4%, 95 calories. I also have the lime version. So we have the regular version here, and then we have the lime version right here. So I thought I'd buy a single can of both, mostly because these have shown up here in the Buffalo, New York area, but I haven't been able to find singles, just entire packs, and I didn't want to do that. Next, we have a beer for next month's Shelfie beer reviews. This is from Amagang. This is their Grande Tripel. So the Tripel with coffee and vanilla, 9% alcohol by volume, limited release. This is one I have not seen here in the West New York area, so I thought I'd grab it to ensure that I can review this in April for Shelfie beer reviews. Next, we have a beer that I saw a very good friend of mine and fellow beer tuber Joe over at Joe's Arcade review. This is from the Bissell Brothers Brewing. And this is their Swish Silver, which is a 4% hazy pale ale. He really enjoyed it, and I'm all about trying to find lower ABV beers that are good because a lot of them are not. And I've never had Swish, I don't think, but this is like the pale ale version of that. I think that's like an 8% double IPA. So I figured I would grab that. Next, you can see here in the front is crazy that they had this on the website. Now, I know they got to drop a side project within the past couple months, but this is from Side Project Brewing. This is their CWH Parfait. This is apparently blend 2. It's a huge blend of barrel-aged stouts. Again, these 2 were 4%. This is 4%, 9% for the Amagang. This is, I want to say it's like a huge, it's like 12, something like that. 12%. So the fact that this was on the website still is wild. As you can see behind me on the pretentious wall of bottles and cans right there, I have the first version of that I gave a perfect 5 out of 5, sent to me by a good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Curtis. So I had to grab that because I have to grab that. Next, we have a beer I'm super excited for. It's another beer from the El Segundo Brewing Company. They do the Stone Cold Steve Austin line of beers. This is their newest release. This is Broken Skull 316 IPA, 7.2% West Coast IPA. And of course, Stone Cold had, you know, his hand on selecting the hops and whatnot. What I love is they got the 316 as well. Pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. What's funny is this showed up a day after I placed this order at a local bottle shop, and I had a small pour of that because Chris, the owner of Brewed and Bottled, cracked it open. We shared it, and it was very different. Let's just say that. So the last beer of the bunch that is not of the other 3 breweries is the one hiding behind here. You can only see the neck of it. This is from Puhala, and this is their Maple Banger Imperial Stout with maple syrup, 12.5%. It's been a while since I reviewed something from Puhala, so I said, you know what, let's grab this, and we are here. As you can see, it says Maple Banger. So yeah, Imperial Stout with, and it also thinks it has, toasted maple wood. So that is pretty awesome. Now, the 3 breweries that really was the catalyst for this order was the RAR Brewing out of Maryland. I actually got a 10-pack for $44. That was hard to pass up because a lot of people asked me to try their out of order series, some of their IPAs. So I was able to get 10 beers for basically $4.40 a can. That is insane, so I had to get that 10-pack. I got 7 beers from the Kunin Brewing Company out of Michigan. It's a brewery I've actually been to numerous times. I actually went to their Winter Solstice release back in 2015. Haven't had any of their beers in a while. They're known for their big barrel-aged old ale called Fourth Dimension. And I got a couple variants of that and whatnot. I also got a couple of their regular beers. And then last but not least, we have 7 beers from Brewhost Brewing. This was really the main catalyst because Brewhost does not get really much distribution. The fact that they had them on their website kind of just blew my mind, so I got one of everything, 7 beers in total. Now, I will say, as far as all these beers go, I don't know if I'm going to review all of them. There's 31 beers here. A lot of them are hop forward. We'll see what I get to. I'm going to share probably some of these locally with the aforementioned Chris, maybe up brewed and bottled, whatever the case may be. However, if you're somebody who wants to see a specific beer reviewed, I'll try my best to get to that beer and set it aside and review it. So please post in the comment section if you want to see any specific beer from this lineup reviewed. I know Haste, who is a viewer of the channel, he wanted to see me do some RAR beers, so therefore I got that mix back. So we'll get into them. So we'll go over the non-pastry sours from RAR first. So the first one I have here is the oldest hop forward beer. It's about 2 months old. This is, again, RAR Brewing. This is an Imperial Nectar Double IPA, 9%, and this was canned towards the end of December, so we're already a couple months deep. I might not review this one, if I'm just being honest with you. I might just drink this off camera. We'll see. I don't want to do disservice to the brewery, and it's going to be the first IPA I really had from them, so we'll see. Next, we have from their, wait, isn't there one I'm missing? Where did I put? No, it's over there. Okay, never mind. We have another double IPA brewed with Citra and Idaho 7. Double dry hop with Citra, Lotus, Waimea, and Crush. It's called Just Squeezed, 8.1%. Next, we have their triple IPA called For Luck. It's a triple IPA with Citra, Nelson Sauvin, Galaxy, and Rakau, 10.1%. Kind of a wild label on this one, I think. And then last but not least of the non-pastry sour beers, this is their Imperial Stack 'em High Breakfast Stout, conditioned on maple syrup and blueberries, 10% alcohol by volume. I think Haste actually mentioned this beer to me specifically. So when I saw this along with the pastry sour, I was like, you know what, I'll give it a go. I'm always up for suggestions and recommendations. So, he wanted to see the RAR stuff. I've been wanting to try more of these out of order. I've only had one in my life, and I reviewed it on the channel. So 4 of these are their out of order series. It's their pastry sour series, and all of these are mimicking different popular cereals. We'll go over them real quick. The one at the forefront here that I'm definitely going to review is their Cinna Mini Milk. So this is a Cinnamon Toast Crunch pastry sour. And I'll tell you right now, when you see these reviews, these are not beers. They're not beers. No, they're not beers. They're beers. They use like a pastry cream and lactose and everything. So I don't drink these really at all anymore. Like, I'll review them occasionally, but pastry sours, not as much, but I'm still curious about these. So the next one is a crunch. It's called Captain Berries. This is a crunch berry pastry sour. That should be interesting. And I feel like the reason why I'm not going to review all of these, or maybe I will and spread them out over like 2 or 3 months, is just because I think they'd be fun to share, honestly. This one is called Not for Kids. So out of order, Not for Kids. This is Trix, I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive on all these, but just based on the names and the logos and everything, I think that's Trix. And then this one I'm pretty sure is Fruit Loops, because this is Snoopaloop. So I'm pretty sure this is 100% Fruit Loops, but I could be incorrect on that. And then the last 2 we have are their Jack's Apple, which I think is an Apple Jack's pastry sour. And then last but not least is the I Say Boo to You. So this I'm pretty sure is a blueberry pastry sour. I think it's a cool concept. It's just, I can only imagine each one of these is like probably 600 to 800 calories a can. So, I'm doing the intermittent fasting and the diet, and I'm down a lot of weight and stuff. I'm not looking to get crazy. Anyway, so that was the RAR beers. Now, we're getting into the Kunin Brewing Company's beers. The first one here is their Lucky Charms Lager. It's a malt beverage with vanilla beans, and the ABV on this is 4.5%. So I still think they do it, but every year around St. Patty's Day, they would have like a special release of like different cereal inspired beers, and this was always one of them, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, it just sounds pretty good, so I had to pick it up. I've never had it before. Now, one I have had before is this, their Drippa, which is a double rice IPA, comes at 9.5% alcohol by volume. I've had this one numerous times before. It's such a good, crisp, clean, like old school double IPA because they brew with rice. So that's going to be a fun one. And another one I've had from them before, this is their Creme Brulee, which is an Imperial Creme Brulee Java Stout malt beverage with coffee, 8.5% alcohol by volume. So that will be fun to dive into as well. And then the last four from Kunin, all barrel-aged beers. We're going to start over here. This is the fourth dimension one, I call it. Barrel-aged, they call it Fourth D, Old Ale, 13.5%. They talk about on the back, all these are the 2024 release. They do their winter solstice release, which I mentioned I have been there before for it. And yeah, I've had this beer numerous times. It's one of my favorite Old Ales from the U.S., and when I saw this, I was like, all right, what is this over here? Well, this is the 2 James Fourth D Barrel-Aged Old Ale, 13.5%, the 2024, and this one was aged in 2 James Rye Whiskey barrel. So a rye whiskey version of 4D is, yeah, sign me up for that. For sure. Then on the other side over here, we have their Solstice Stout. So this is a special blend of aged ales, 2024, comes in at, they do not have an ABV on this. So just, I guess it's alcohol-free, boys and girls. Alcohol-free. It's probably like 13, 14%, something stupid. It's Kunin. That's what they do. And then last but not least from Kunin, we do have their barrel-aged American Imperial Stout, 12.9%. Just, I think, a big old American Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels, 2024, of course. So, the last brewery, like I said, Brewhouse Brewing, they were the catalyst for this entire thing. And the reason for that is because you don't really see them anywhere. Very hyped, usually hard to get. Maybe we're going to see some distro of them, you know, not specifically here in New York State, but just in general outside of Oregon. I have no idea, but I got 7 different offerings from them, and I am super stoked about it. So we're going to go with the 2 beers that you might not think, because when people think Brewhouse, they think a hazy IPAs for the most part, and then maybe some West Coast. But I got a couple lagers. I think it's 2 lagers, 4 West Coast, and 1 hazy, believe it or not. So the first one here we have is their Hostia, which is a Czech Pilsner. And the label art from Brewhouse is always just absolutely fan-friggin-tastic. The next one we have is their El Celo, which I believe is a Munich-style Dunkel lager. It's all in Spanish here, but I did remember seeing when I looked these up, I was like, okay, yeah, okay, Munich-style Dunkel, okay, sign me up. And then we have the Lone Hazy, their triple dry hopped Malsaber, which comes in at 8%. I think I reviewed the or maybe just the double dry hop version. So this is the only hazy. I was like, all right, I'm going to grab it. Why not? You know, no reason not to. Then last but not least, we have 4 West Coast hop forward beers. The first one is their Cuernitos, which is a double dry hopped West Coast Pale Ale, comes in at 5% alcohol by volume. So you got the West Coast Pale Ale. Then the next one is the West Coast double dry hopped West Coast IPA in collaboration with Ruse Brewing. This one is called the Wolfen Throne, and this comes in at 7.3% alcohol by volume. Label art, like I said, pretty fantastic. I just like snorted right there. Settle down, Joe. Anyway, next we have a triple. Well, actually, we'll do this other one because this one is also triple dry hop. So this is a triple. Well, we'll do that. It doesn't matter, Joe. It doesn't. So this is a triple West Coast IPA. Comes in at 10.2% alcohol by volume, 80 IBUs. This is their Thou. And then last but not least is the triple dry hopped West Coast. Triple dry hop, triple West Coast IPA in collaboration with Grains of Wrath, 10.3%. This is their Coagula. That's a sick label. Like that, just I hope this is delicious because this is definitely going to go behind me on the pretentious wall of bottles and cans. So looking at the time, this is probably going to be like 15 minutes, which is way shorter than I thought. But again, I didn't go into a great detail. If you made it to the end, 31 beers cost me $219 shipped. So that's around $7 a beer. When you take in consideration brew hosts, what these go on the secondary, these Kunin beers being huge barrel-aged beers, everything in between, I'm A-okay with paying $7 for everything that I get here, especially the RAR stuff. I'm A-okay with it. Free shipping in New York State when I think you go over $100, up to 24 beers. Here's the beauty about this. I didn't get charged for any shipping despite 31 beers because the 10-pack from RAR counted as one beer. So you take those 10 away, and I just came in under 24 beers. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, all I can say is if you haven't checked out Half Time Beverage and they do ship to your state, don't hesitate to order from them. This is the second time I've ordered. Everything is pretty fresh. The oldest beer here was out of the RAR mix pack. And well, I should say the oldest beer that really matters. The garage beer is like from November. That should be fine. Everything else is relatively fresh, and most of it canned this year, except for this Imperial Nectar, which was canned at the end of December. Yeah, so again, if you want to see a specific beer reviewed, please post in the comment section. I'll do my best to do so. Outside of that, I'm just going to pick what I want to review. I might review them all. I might review a third of them. I might review 2/3 of them. Kind of want to showcase the awesomeness that Half Time Beverage has. And honestly, I could have put another 10, 15 beers into my cart and spent $350 and would have been feeling real gross about it. But this should last me a couple months in addition to the beer mails I have and like the shelfie beers. So I'm good for a couple months worth of beer, at least in my opinion. Probably only thing I'll have to buy in April is probably some shelfie beers, and that'll be it. So anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you stopping by for a beer mail unboxing. Again, the fact that this is going to be under 20 minutes is pretty awesome, but I didn't go into detail for each beer, which I'll do when I review them. But yeah, I want to get all these right back into the fridge, especially those RAR beers, so they don't undergo a secondary fermentation. Anyway, appreciate it. To the next one. Cheers.